We are finally doing my first reaction video. I've never done one of these before, and mostly it's because reacting to someone else's video is, I would say, a little bit rude when it comes to reacting to it, because you can say things that may, make the YouTuber really annoyed of what you've said about their video, or you might say things that are actually wrong as well. But I thought there was one particular video that I did watch, and it was linked to me because I was spotted in the video when it came to setting up some of the software on Linux. And the YouTuber I am talking about is foci or foci. I don't know how to say his YouTube name exactly, but he has been making a lot of different Linux videos, and I really do enjoy watching some of the ones that I've watched so far. They are really well edited videos, good cinematography as well when it comes to like camera shots and all that type of stuff. It's well edited video, unlike mine, where mine's usually just like 30 minutes long. Even though we do chop up the video as much as we can on my recordings, I would say he does a really good job of making a rather short video about some type of subject. So this is not like bashing on this person at all, because I really do enjoy the content that they create. But the video that he decided to make was, I installed the fastest gaming Linux distro on my old gaming PC. Fast and frustrating. So if we start this off here, in the very beginning.
In this video, I'll install Cachyos on.
So that's the distro he chose. It was Cachyos because it's the fastest gaming Linux distro
On my gaming PC that I built in 2017. Inside it has an i5 6600K, an Asus GTX 1070 with 8 gigs of VRAM, 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM, as well as a 1TB NVMe SSD. Now,
so the specs of this computer is rather old. The memory is pretty damn good. The 1070 8GB variant is starting to be very outdated, and I know for a fact that installing Linux and trying to install NVIDIA drivers on these types of cards is starting to be a struggle, as NVIDIA is slowly moving away from these GPUs and supporting them for like a decade now, I would say, at this point. But as we'll continue on, there is some other things that do happen that are, I would say, the wrong way of doing things on the Linux distro that he did choose. But again, the specs, he's chosen computer parts that are not gonna necessarily blend well with the fastest gaming Linux distro, which is Cachyos. But I do understand the video idea here, trying to test a old gaming PC and seeing how it stacks up with a distro that is, like the newest, fastest Linux distro that you could probably get today, I would say.
Gigs of DDR4 RAM, as well as a 1TB NVMe SSD. Now,
which is good.
In my last
yeah,
video, I tried Bazzite, which unfortunately wasn't a particularly good experience. A lot of you...
Yeah, that's interesting that he didn't have a good Bazzite experience. I wonder what went wrong when he tried Bazzite, if it was on this rather old gaming PC or not, because my testing, when I've tried Bazzite on my AMD RX 6700 or my NVIDIA RTX 2060, I've both had good experiences when running Bazzite, so I do wonder what was going wrong there.
Recommended Cachyos instead. So that's why I'm installing it today. Also in my last video, I made some benchmarks of my favorite games running on a fresh install of Windows 10. Shadow of Mordor, Overwatch and World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
A quick recap. In Shadow of Mordor we got around 100 FPS, which is the cap. But in hectic situations, it would drop to around 85 FPS.
That seems to be expected.
We got well above 100 FPS, even in action-packed scenes. And in World of Warcraft, I got around 70 to 80 FPS on ultra settings in 1080p.
Okay.
Alright, so let's start off by wiping the drive that we're going to use. Goodbye Bazzite. This step is probably unnecessary, but I just learned to use diskpart. Clean all. Boom. Okay. Let's grab the Cachyos.
At least he's rather used to the terminal. That's pretty good.
Direct download. Let's write it to the USB using Rufus. Partition scheme, GPT, Let's see if disk part has done its work. All is unallocated. Good. Now it's ready, so let's restart.
Okay.
Here in the BIOS, I select the USB. Oh, we got a cursor. And there's the logo. Welcome to Cachyos.
Wow.
Launch installer. Choose bootloader.
So the next thing that he does bring up is about the bootloader stuff. He chose Grub, which I think is probably the best option to choose. System deboot is the default they like to choose on Cachyos, but it doesn't support snapshots. So when you're rolling on an Arch-based distro, you might have a problem, and taking a snapshot with BTRFS is really important because you can then roll back and continue using your system if something is going wrong and you don't know how to solve it. So that's why it's a good choice to choose Grub, or what I use is Lamine. It's they like to call it a more modern bootloader, and that also does support snapshots.
Bootloader, Grub? I don't know, let's try. Oh, it's in Danish. Let's switch it to English. I am indeed in Copenhagen. I need to make sure I wipe the correct drive. Okay, erase disk, home desktop. Oh, there's a lot. Let's go with Plasma Desktop. Additional packages.
Cool.
Let's just move on. Name, foci. Login name, foci. Computer name, foci. Now can you guess my password?
Oh, so it's foci. That's how he says that. Foci. Alright.
Gets it right. Install. Install now. Alright, I'll be back in a sec. So this only took like 10 minutes. Very impressive. All done.
True. The installer, as a Calamari installer, is pretty good when it comes to installing Linux distros nowadays. I think pretty sure Nobara uses it, Cachyos uses it, I think EndeavourOS uses it as well, and it's really fast at just installing Linux distros.
Yeah, so I need to install OBS ASAP. Install apps. Is it under video? No. Okay, so it was actually in the list. What else do we have here? Browsers. There's the usual suspects. Games. Oh, there's Mahjong, my old enemy. I can't seem to find Steam. How to install Steam on Cachyos? The easiest way to install Steam is by using the Cachyos meta package via the terminal.
Okay, so first problem here that we are seeing is he went straight to Google, which I guess is a perfect way of, figuring out a problem, and he is reading the AI response, and the AI response is giving a correct response with installing the Steam package, which is the gaming meta package, which is going to install a bunch of different gaming tools that usually a gamer would want to use, like an FPS overlay probably, Steam, Lutris, if I had to guess as well, which probably gets installed in it, and maybe some other little things that just make it a little bit better. But point is if we go back here to the Cachyos application, there is a button here called repo. If we open up the Cachy package package installer, and we go to repo, we can view all of the applications on the official Arch repos and the Cachyos repos. And we can simply search Steam. If we see here, boom, it's right here. If we wanted to search OBS Studio, your OBS Studio, there it is. If you want to search Discord, if that's something you want to use, bam, it's right here. So definitely think that this was overlooked and he just went straight to Google. That's perfectly fine, and it gave the AI an alright response for how to install this properly.
How to install Steam on Cachyos? The easiest way to
let's see what happens here next.
Using the Cachyos meta package via the terminal. I can also use the graphical Cachy hello screen. Oh, okay, but where is it? Click on apps/tweaks in the lower left corner. Oh, install gaming packages. There are two providers available. One is the default. Yeah, let's go with that. Proceed. Yes. I never get tired of this Hackerman code. Enter to exit. So, do we just have Steam now? Oh, let's start downloading Shadow of Mordor. Meanwhile, let's check out the terminal. There's two. Alacrity. Alright, it seems that all hardware is correctly identified. What
That's good.
NVIDIA driver is installed? How can I check drivers? Open a terminal and run
Oh god.
NVIDIA-SML. This transparent terminal
Sure,
is quite
that can work.
cool.
It should give information
it's the
about
same
his driver. Yep,
driver that I used on
580.95.05.
Let's
Yep.
find a new wallpaper.
But he could have also just went on the little application launcher here and just searched NVIDIA, and it would have brought up the NVIDIA network, or not NVIDIA network, the NVIDIA control panel. And you just open that, and then boom, it tells you the driver version. I'm pretty sure maybe it will tell you the driver version in the KD system settings in about as well. I think so, maybe not. But you could have just opened up the application launcher, searched for the NVIDIA control panel, and it would have showed the version. But the terminal way, NVIDIA SMI, that does work as well.
Yeah, anime girl is not quite my cup of tea.
That's
Sorry.
perfectly fine.
Liquid? Ooh, I like this.
Nice, yeah.
So here I spent 10 minutes figuring out how to install
Oh god.
Pac-Man.
Oh god. Why are we using ChatGPT to install a package? You know, like, I understand that people are moving to AI models and stuff like that, and I do use AI to solve certain problems when it comes to maybe server-related things that I don't understand. But I think, like, the first command, I saw a snap command that it gave out. That's not going to work, and as it says here, snap command not found because snap isn't installed on Arch-based distros. You have, you use Pacman to install packages on Arch, and that's basically it. So when it came to installing local send, I'm pretty sure installing local send is either not available. If we do paru local send, it's either, no, it is available in Cachyos's repo. So all we had to do was do sudo pacman dash capital S local send, and that would install the package. And then for me, the way I would do it, I use Flatpak. So I have the Bazaar GUI store installed with Flatpak installed. And I could just launch the Bazaar store and then search for local send because local send is on FlatHub. If you just do local send here, bada bing, bada boom. This is the GUI way, I guess you could say. It's right here. Or we could open up the Cachy thing here and do local send and install it through here. There's multiple choices that you could go through. But it is interesting how he is using AI to figure out how to install a package when there is a whole Cachyos wiki that you can go to figure out how to install things. But it is fine, I guess. He probably does figure out anyways.
Sudo.
And he even has the documentation as well.
Figuring out how to install local send.
Like he brings up here on the local send website as well. So obviously he must figure it out.
Figuring out how to install local send.
I guess. I don't know.
Sudo pacman -s local send.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
That simple. Huh.
Bing, bada, boom.
Let's get Mango Hut so I can monitor performance. Launch options. Paste this command.
Yep.
Let's grab GOLA2. Ooh, this is cool.
Yeah.
Now we need to install World of Warcraft.
So this is where I appear in the video of a World of Warcraft tutorial that I did a little bit ago.
Some of you mentioned that Lutris was the way to go. Alright, I pulled up a guide, opened Lutris, add, Battle.net.
One thing you should have waited for, and there's a couple things now. This, I would say, is Lutris's fault for doing this, not updating their default runner that they have. And so if a new user decides to install a game, let's say they try to install Battle.net, it is not going to use the latest Proton runner. Instead, it's going to use WineGE 826, which is literally like over a year old now and is retired. It's no longer being updated. GE Proton is the default Proton runner that is supposed to be used in Lutris when it comes to, because it literally downloads it for you, but it doesn't set it as the default. So when we go through this install thing, there are some issues that do kind of appear when trying to run it.
Install. Oh, Shadow of Mordor is ready to play. Do not attempt to log into Battle.net. Simply
That's how it goes.
it.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, it says installation completed here, but this window is stuck at 90%.
So that's weird. That could be probably because YGE is being used.
Oh, it just
could be
went black.
Possible
Let's
as to
try
why.
again. Okay, I can log in this time.
Beep, beep.
Oh, we have 3 logos down here. Cool. Alright, let's reboot and try again. So now it's logging in automatically. I think that's good. Battle.net update agent went to sleep. Well, wake up, goddammit.
Beep.
Okay, I need a win. Let's play Shadow of Mordor.
So you can see there was a lot of problems that appeared, and it's mostly because of Lutris. I'd say Lutris is in maintenance mode right now. It's not being updated anymore. People saying to recommend it. They don't really know what they're talking about, in my opinion, because you have to change core parts of it in the background to actually install these applications properly. If you don't use GE Proton, all of a sudden you have all these random problems when trying to install launchers that get constantly updated and they break on Proton rather quickly, and so you need that newer GE Proton runner, and that just wasn't set by default, and so he had these weird problems when he tried to install the launcher. It got stuck at 90%, and then he decided to close it. For some reason, I guess he waited quite a while, he closed it, then he tried to launch it, and it had all these weird problems, and that's why I've moved away from Lutris. I recently made a video about why I'm using Fugus launcher, which is down below here. It is a great launcher. It installs Battle.net, EA, Epic Games, Rockstar, Ubisoft launcher extremely easily. It uses the latest Proton runner and the EMU backend, which applies Proton fixes and such to games automatically for you before it launches. It is a great solution. Other ones like Heroic is a really good solution as well, and even Bottles, even though Bottles is kind of in a maintenance mode as well, you can get it done if you know how to switch the Proton runner to something newer, as again that's similar to Lutris. So usually Fugus or Heroic are 2 great options for installing those types of things.
You played for 69 hours.
Nice.
Your current CPU governor is not optimized for playing Shadow of Mordor.
So we have another problem that is met here. Yes, which is that Shadow of Mordor, for some reason, has a native port, and I'm guessing this is going to do with SteamOS 2 back in the day, in like 2013 or 2012, or sometime then, where Steam was trying to make the SteamOS machines, and so Shadow of Mordor was one game that did support Linux natively. And they haven't removed the native version, and that's probably why he's experiencing these problems, where you have to go on properties.
Let's do Proton Cachyos.
Yeah, sure, that should work. And as you can see now, the game is running through Proton, Windows to Linux being translated, and it works perfectly fine because Valve has made sure that the game actually works as it should. So I guess that's kind of like a learning step when you try to do Linux gaming, is that some games aren't good when it comes to a native port on Linux. There's a lot of native ports that are around that will be used, and you might have a worse experience, and then you force Proton on it and it downloads the Windows version and it works way better, and the compatibility of it is just plain better.
Alright, let's get these guys. Okay, this is pretty smooth, but I don't think it's...
So the next issue that I forgot his name again, Foci or something like that, is the DXVK shader cache loading that happens here. He gets a bit confused over what's going on here, and as we continue on,
resolution.
Right now, yeah, it's done now, so there should be no more problems when it comes to the frame timing.
Yeah, this is much better. And we're getting 90 plus FPS pretty consistently. Let's find somewhere with a little more action. Beast Hunt. Invade the Beast Hunt to weaken Sauron's army. So we need to find this fella Ishmos Skull Splitter. Okay. Oh, there he is.
Oh, he's gonna finish it.
Okay, I get 90 plus FPS even in this hectic situation. That's an actual upgrade from Windows 10.
Okay.
Very nice. let's...
And it is true that DXVK in most cases is just plain better than DirectX. In almost all cases, it just performs better. Majority of cases, and if any different type of game that you use that's like DirectX 9, 10, or 11, it is going to perform plainly better just because of the developers who work behind DXVK, who are contracted by Valve. They've just done an insane job of making DXVK work extremely good.
Let's release this guy, maybe he can help me out. Oh, I actually died. Damn. Okay, with that, let's now try Overwatch. It ran terribly on Bazzite, so I do hope it's better this time.
Interesting, so that's one problem that he experienced, which is probably got to do with the shader cache preloading thing. But as we continue on here, we'll see the problem that occurs.
Compatibility, force the use of a specific Steam compatibility tool. Let's go with Proton Cachyos again. Great. Play. Okay, the menu feels pretty smooth. We're pretty much capping the 60 FPS.
There's the menu 60 FPS.
Reinhardt for sure.
So, as we can see here, if we look up at the top left of Mango HUD, we can see his CPU is being completely pinned, and that is because of a thing that graphics drivers do now. Nvidia does it, AMD does it, Intel does it, all on Linux. They all use a thing called GPL, which stands for the graphics pipeline. And the graphics pipeline loads shader cache as soon as the game launches. You saw it happen as well in the main menu. The CPU kind of gets pinned, but because the FPS is capped at 60, it's not being pinned as much, but you can see in the main menu that the frame timing was really weird. And as you can see now, it's being fully pinned because the FPS is uncapped. It's trying to load the shader cache, and this can take a long time depending on the CPU. And with this low, old-ish gaming PC, it's got what, an i5 6600K, I think it was. That CPU is going to take a long time to load the shader cache, in my opinion. So the solution I have, I'll continue watching here, and you can just see the frame timing just looks really bad because that's what it's doing. It's just trying to load all the shader cache because there is no shader cache that appears at the start of the game. You've all noticed that, like on DirectX 12 games, they have a shader cache preloading thing before the game starts, or games will literally not let you play because of the shader cache is loading. Things in like the finals, they have a shader cache thing, and it's like, are you sure do you want to play because it's loading the shader cache? While on DirectX 11 games, that isn't a thing. Either on Windows or on Linux. Of course, graphics drivers on Windows do load shader cache, I'm pretty sure, differently with DirectX 11, and I probably do it in a more better way where the user doesn't notice that it's happening. I don't know how that necessarily happens, but on Linux, we can see here that the frame timing is just like, it doesn't look that great, and it's because it's trying to load all the shader cache.
That's yet another fail. Damn. So after recording, I did try letting the game load for some minutes, as some of you recommended. And I also tried different Proton versions. But alas, nothing seemed to work.
Alright, so just to show an example of the GPL shader cache that I was talking about in the reaction video, we're going to test out Overwatch 2 just to show the shader cache loading so everyone understands what is going on here. So I have cleared my wine prefix so that the shader cache is fully deleted, so it has to redo it so we can really see what is going on here. And as we can see right now, not even entering the game yet, we can see that the CPU is being constantly pinned, and we can see the frame timing looks pretty damn a little bit all over the place. And if we go to training here, we go to practice range, normal, and then let's just select a random character. As you can see, the CPU is being pinned even more. The FPS is quite low, I would say, currently. And yeah, if we do just, I don't know, just the emote and we just watch it do its magic, and we just wait for it to load the shader cache, which, depending on your CPU, like for me, I have a Ryzen 7600, as I said in the reaction video, it will compile it rather fast because it's a rather new CPU with a rather new GPU. But if you have like an older CPU, a really old GPU, it will take a lot longer for this GPL shader cache to load properly with DXVK. So as we wait here, it's now around 90 FPS, 100 FPS, now it's 80, now it's 90. We're just going to keep waiting and waiting till it, 120, 80, 130, 150, 200. It's slowly getting updates. I don't think it's fully done, or maybe it is done now. It's close. I'm pretty sure it's done. And no, yeah, okay, so there you go. Now the shader cache is fully loaded, and as you can see, the FPS is now at 200 with the graphics that I have set on it as the default, which the graphics is set pretty high, I'm pretty sure, because I did clear the wine prefix, so that means it resets all of my settings. It's on like high to ultra. Usually I set it to around medium. Even though I have to restart the game, and of course it reset the FPS as well, because Overwatch likes to do that. We can see now, around like 240, 250. Now there is no more issues, and the game plays smooth as butter. Now again, if you have an older CPU and GPU, it is going to take a lot longer, and as I remember, like my Ryzen 3700X with my RTX 2060, it used to take a lot longer for it to compile those shaders, and I expect on Foci's old computer, it is going to take even longer with a i5 6600K and an GTX 1070. It is going to take a lot longer for that shader cache to load.
Okay, let's try.
And I'm wondering how long he sat there waiting for the shader cache to load, because on a low-end, decade-old computer, it would be struggling to load all those shaders. It just would. You would just need to sit in training. That's all you need to do. You sit in there and just wait for it to load. And you literally watch it do its magic, and you'll see the FPS go up as it's loading it. Now for me, I have a Ryzen 7600, so loading the shader cache and an RX 6700 and GDDR5 memory, loading the shader cache is a lot more quicker on my system, while on older systems it will take a lot more longer because, well, you have less cores, older architecture, things like that will just take a little bit longer to load it. And the same case happens here on Battlefront 2. As we can see right now, the CPU is being pinned to living hell, and it's trying to load
another online game, which
the shader cache. You can see the frame time is literally freezing because it's trying to load it. Again, as we can see, the shader cache is trying to be loaded, and it's not a perfect experience.
Nope. We get well below 40 FPS, and the mouse isn't working again.
Interesting. Because I saw you aiming around, so that's interesting that the mouse got lost. I have played Battlefront 2 many times on my Linux desktop. I was playing it like 2 months ago because people started playing it again. I hopped on it. I had no issues playing it. It loaded the shader cache. It pinned my CPU, and then the FPS was smooth as butter, and I had no mouse problem. So I'm wondering what the problem that is occurring here with this situation.
Damn it. What about Apex Legends?
Oh, well, Apex Legends, if you don't know, EA blocked Apex Legends because of cheating. When there's a whole situation on that. If they actually banned Linux because of cheating, really, even though they showed graphs, it seemed like the graphs were actually a lie. People were figuring out. So that whole situation is pretty a lot of bullcrap in my opinion. But yeah, Apex Legends is not supported on Linux, and none of the EA games are supported on Linux. Maybe Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3, those do work technically because they don't use the EA kernel level anti-cheat. But yeah, that's just how it is when it comes to
Steam Deck are not
when it comes to playing some games on Linux. Some game studios want to block Linux because they think higher vector when it comes to cheating, when that hasn't really been the case recently with a lot of games supporting Linux that do have anti-cheat. I'm looking at Embark, that they support the finals, Arc Raiders, they all support Linux under Proton, and they have great system and security when it comes to blocking cheaters, and they're going in a very different path to all of these other systems where they're using DRM protection type things, anti-cheat, even though it's not DRM protection. They're using what's it called, Denuvo as an anti-cheat system, and then they've got server-side anti-cheat and many other security things that they don't want to talk about to protect players, including Linux players. So just how it is, I would say, when it comes to Apex Legends not being supported, or Battlefield 6, or Battlefield 5, or Battlefield 1, or EA WRC. Those games sadly just don't work on Linux.
Hey Legends, we're showing today that Linux will no longer
Which
be able
was a
to
very
access
sad
Apex
day,
Legends.
I would say, because
man.
I have personally 2,000 hours in Apex Legends, and at the time I basically stopped playing it because it was becoming a pretty bad game, I would say. The direction they were doing it was pretty bad, but that was a pretty annoying day to see EA post that.
Team Fortress 2? No, that didn't work either. It kept giving me the same error message. Conclusion.
So that's interesting that he got an error message. I've been testing this game a bunch when it comes to like the Cosmic Desktop. I've been testing games on that, and that's one game I've been testing and I've had no problems. So I'm wondering what went wrong here. You're in a insecure mode. You must restart before you can connect to a secure server. So that's interesting. I've never gotten that error before. And that's a Valve game. So that's oh, I see. He's running the Proton version. I see. You can see DXVK. So TF2 is natively supported on Linux. All of Valve's games. Oh no, not Deadlock 2 yet. Deadlock 2, not Deadlock 2, Deadlock. You need to run that under Proton, but all the other Valve games, Counter-Strike, TF2, those all are natively supported. So do not force compatibility on Linux native games like Valve's games in particular. You need to use the native version because of their anti-cheat. The VAC anti-cheat does not support Proton properly.
That didn't work either. It kept giving me the same error message. Conclusion.
Yeah,
so Cachyos unfortunately couldn't solve my problems, although I must say I quite like it. It's really fast and snappy. And the KDE desktop does look pretty cool. Installing the gaming package, which included Lutris, Steam and Epic Launcher, is a cool feature as well. There are probably a lot of things I could do to make it better. If you have any suggestions, please share them.
So mostly the problems that were occurring on Cachyos for him weren't really Cachyos' fault. It was mostly his fault for misunderstanding how games work on Linux and which games use native and Proton. Doesn't matter which Linux distro you go to when it comes to the native or Proton thing, that is going to be the same case. And it also doesn't matter which Linux distro you go to when it comes to the GPL. When it comes to NVIDIA, they've been using GPL for like 4 years now on Linux. And then Mesa 25.1, which I'm pretty sure it's Mesa 25 or Mesa 23.1, I think, is when GPL got implemented on AMD, and then Mesa 20 or like 3.5 or something, Intel got it supported. That was like 2.5 years ago. That is all supported now on all Linux distros. They're all using newer Mesa versions than that version. So you can't really run away from that. That is just how it works. You need to wait for the shadow cache to load. And then when it comes to installing packages, I think it's just a learning experience. Learning how to install packages on Cachyos. And then, like for me, if you learn how to install things like Flatpak, or he could have installed Octopi, that is another great system package GUI thing. But again, you could have just opened up the Cachyos package installer, gone to repo, and then search for the package right here, and then click install, and then it will install the package for you. There's no real big headaches really when it comes to installing these packages nowadays because there's a GUI for it. Just he didn't really know about it seems, and he went to ChatGPT and Google to try and figure out how to get these packages installed, which is, to be fair, it's just again a learning experience.
I want to thank you very much for the support on my latest videos. I do read all comments and try to reply them all, although I've fallen a bit behind. So that's really all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, and again thank you for the many comments and suggestions on my last videos. I have 2 videos coming up. The first will be on Fedora Linux, which I'm very much looking forward to try. The second is installing TinyCore Linux on the HP Mini. The reason it hasn't come out yet is that I have problems getting the internet to work on it. So again, if you know of a solution, please let me know.
Maybe TinyCore is a bit older, so maybe it doesn't support the drivers for the computer that you're using, maybe? I don't know how updates work with TinyCore and what it's based on and how old it is. It's probably, if I had to guess, maybe a little bit outdated, like maybe 2 years behind or something, and maybe that's why it's not working on the hardware that he has. But that's cool. You know, he's got 2 upcoming projects. If you enjoy his content, he's going to be releasing more videos about Fedora Linux. See his experience on there, which is going to be probably a similar experience to Bazzite, because Bazzite's based on the immutable version or atomic version of Fedora Linux. So that will be interesting to see. So the conclusion of this video, of a reaction video for this, is that he did do a decent job when it comes to like editing the video and trying to explain his thoughts on the problems that he was having, but most of the problems that he experienced are mostly just user error and just a learning experience when it comes to playing games on Linux today. And of course, if he has like any problems and stuff, you can comment down below if you notice any other problems. And I did comment as well, a pretty lengthy comment about the issues that he had, and just in great length what was happening. And of course, this is no like attack at this channel at all. This is purely just a reaction video. I'm just trying to teach some people, you know, like how Linux gaming works. If people also get met with these problems, that is basically why these problems, not really problems, but why this is happening on your Linux desktop when you're trying to play games on Linux. So if you guys did enjoy this video, definitely give it a like, definitely subscribe to the channel, and I'd like to know your thoughts about this YouTuber as well. He seems to do all right content. Like I said, editing is really good. So yeah, really like to know. And thank you to my supporters. I'll share a text across the screen. Thank you for giving me money every single month. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.